Right. Okay, awesome. Just join the like Sips and Strats VC1, and then I'll ping people when you're in there. Just so I know. All right. Thank you so much. Sorry about that. Bye.
You guys, hello. It's just not streaming unless there's technical errors, right? Like that's just what we do. I am so sorry about that. But you guys, I'm so excited to be here and welcome in. There is just one more thing that we are getting set up and ready with the Discord voice chats. But you guys, I'm so stoked to be here. Maxis, welcome in. Oh my goodness, what a night. It's 22 minutes. You guys, I'm just so sorry. I'm so sorry. There's no other words to explain. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Brittany, aka Pink Brit, and I am an avid first-person shooter lover. So Valorant, all things Marvel Rivals, and Halo, pretty much any first-person shooter out there or shooter game I have played. So tonight we are just gonna go right into it, talking about Valorant. It's tonight's. We've got so many lessons to try to pack in such a short amount of time, but we're going to try to really focus on those beginning fundamentals. Even if you are an experienced player, hopefully there's something that you can still pick up out of this, and hopefully you guys will walk away with just a little bit more knowledge to make you that much better of a player and to get ready for the Gamers 1v1 meet tournaments that they are doing. So you're gonna go 1 versus 1. We're gonna see who is truly just the best. So I know that we have some people in the Discord. I'm gonna invite them in off mic if they want. Hey guys. If you want. Hello? Is anyone with me?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, hi. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Do you want to tell me a little bit about your Valorant experience?
I worked on Valorant for like a little bit. I'm not good at the game though, at all. I worked on the Valorant publishing team for Riot, so I'm excited to learn a little bit more about the game.
That's so cool. Oh my god, I'm like, hella nervous now. Oh my gosh. That's like
Oh
the
no,
coolest
no,
thing.
no. While I was at Riot, like there was a lot of people on the team, like on the team that are like actually intimidated by playing Valorant because it's so competitive and there's a lot going on. So like while I was there, I would actually set up little like learning classes where like people who actually like, you know what I mean, plays the game and knows what they're
Yes.
doing, like they would teach.
Oh my
So like I'm
gosh.
always looking to learn more because I am terrible at Valorant.
Oh
So
my gosh, that is so cool. Well, welcome in. You talking
thank
about how
you.
sweaty the game is just reminded me that I gotta make my drink for tonight. Because Valorant is extremely competitive. It's such a sweaty, try-hard game sometimes, but we're here to have fun. We're here to break it down to that introductory level. So I'm gonna have some of my liquid IV tonight to get ready for our really intense, not really, it's not gonna be that intense. We're gonna have fun. We're here to have fun, and that's what ultimately video games, any video game, is all about, is having fun and just hanging out with each other, with this wonderful group of girls, with these wonderful people, learning a new game, and just having fun. So if you have any questions, feel free to like let me know. I wasn't entirely sure how we would do this, so I really just have it as a me explaining and trying things out. I'll tell you guys when to go into the range or like when to try things, and I hope everybody has fun and enjoys. Awesome.
Excited. I'm looking forward to this.
Yay! Well, then let's just kind of get right into it. We've talked about a little bit about some experience. Chat, I want to know the chat's experience. La Muerte, thank you so much for joining. Chat, what is your experience with Valorant? What are you guys kind of looking forward to and hoping to get out of this as I kind of work into... Let's work into the range so that way I could bring up some of our characters and roles and get into kind of the first lesson. One of the things I love about Valorant is that it is such a female-dominated game. Like over 50% of the player base is female, and that has a lot to do with the wonderful people at Riot who put so much emphasis and effort into making it such a femme-friendly game. So I really love that. I just want to learn more about the game because I'm currently hard stuck with no end in sight. Naxis, we will do our best to get you there. We're gonna do my best. I'm gonna put my fan on because it just got really warm in my office with my gaming computer, and I thought I had my fan on. So for those of you who don't know, we're gonna start just literally bare bones basics. What is Valorant? What is it at its core? Valorant is a 5 versus 5 tactical first-person shooter that involves incredibly precise gameplay and communication and teamwork in order to win the objective. You could be a great shooter, but if the team doesn't work together, you're basically going to lose the game no matter what. There is a hard emphasis on that teamwork and communication. And even if you don't like using a mic, Valorant's made a lot of great ways to be able to communicate with your team and to make sure that there is always a way to communicate the objective and what you guys want to do together. And then, of course, there's always the chat. So, with me so far, pretty simple, right? The objective, engaging between two teams and earning 13 total round wins. It's not too bad, right? We can all get to 13. So how do you win the round? It's going to involve either planting the spike or defusing the spike. And so that's really your main focus of the game. The spike is what the game completely consists around of. One team's going to attempt to plant it while the other defuses, and that is going to prevent the opposing team from planting at all. The team who is attempting to plant the spike, those are going to be your attackers. Attackers are going to win the round by either eliminating the entire team or successfully planting the spike and guarding it for 45 seconds. So the team who is preventing the spike from being planted are called the defenders. The defenders are going to win their round by eliminating the entire enemy team or removing the spike after it's been planted. That's super important. Even if you've eliminated the enemy team, you've got to defuse the spike as a defender in order to win that round. Are you guys with me so far? I hope so. It's kind of like capture the flag, but you know, instead it's a spike and a bomb. It's very similar. We've got some key similarities. So now that we kind of know that basic objective, we're planting the spike. How are we going to do that? We're defusing the spike. What's the best way to do that? Choosing really the right character or agent, as what it's called in Valorant, is really going to be the determining factor of that success. Your team is going to want to create a very cohesive and balanced set of abilities between the 5 of you to create that optimal chance of winning each round. But more intense with lots of colors, right? Way more intense than capture the flag because there's so much more going on. So as you can see on my screen, these are kind of all of our agents. These are everything that you can pick from. We're going to call them agents because that is what they call them in Valorant. So we're going to stick with that for the rest of the stream. So there's 4 groups that your agents are divided into. And kind of each role brings its own natural ability and personality to the team. We're not going to go over every agent necessarily, but we're going to go over some good beginner agents, and we're going to break them down into the 4 main roles that each agent is categorized into. Like I said, picking that essential role is really important because that's going to be how you build the best team with the best set of abilities to complete that objective. So after this, I'm going to be very curious to hear what you guys think is your main role. What do you think you see yourself as? Because each role really does have a personality type. So we're going to go into that and break it down right now. Let's pick a duelist. Phoenix. Phoenix is a great duelist. You could kind of see when you pick a character, and if you're on a keyboard, of course, I'm going to kind of imply that everything is on a keyboard just because that's what I'm playing with. Your buttons, small asterisks, your buttons and some movements and maneuvers and aim might be a little bit different if you're playing on a controller on, say, an Xbox. So small caveats to that, but otherwise things are going to be still the same. Aim consistencies and things like that are still going to be the same. So if you press that F1 key, you can find all of the abilities. I lost one of my screens, sorry, with all my notes on it. So your duelists, these guys are your entry fraggers. They create openings, they take the fights head on. Their primary objective is to be the first in taking on attacks. They're going to create space for those early secured kills at the beginning of the game and the beginning of the round. And they're going to create room for your teammates to follow in. So as you can see with Blaze, he's got his ability kit that is very aggressive, that allows him to be able to enter in and really take on those fights. Phoenix is a great entry duelist. He's one of the characters that you get for free right in the beginning, making him a really great duelist. A great personality type. If you're really confident and you're really bold in how you play and with your aiming and shooting, you're probably going to be great for being a duelist. If you like to take charge and you just like run it on instinct, you're probably going to be a duelist. If you don't mind being one of the first to die, because you are there to make space and you are there to help gather information and be the first line of defense, you might die first, and that's okay because that's going to help your team. And if you're okay with that, then you might be a duelist. And if you're comfortable being vocal, duelists are really the ones who help say, we're going to go push A, we need to stay back and defend on site B, and things of that nature. So other beginner-friendly duelists are going to be, of course, Phoenix, like I said. Reyna is really great because she's a very independent agent Her kit is really involved on how well she performs by herself. And Jet is also really great, but has a little bit higher of a learning curve. She's got some additional movement that can be a little bit harder to tackle, but still really good for beginners to try to learn. You guys with me so far? Do you think you're a duelist based off of your personality type? My first duelist was Neon because I just wanted to run away. Honestly, mine was too, I think. I love Neon. One thing I love about Neon is she's got, I'm going to try to switch to Neon. She has these walls that go up that just make it so great to run into sight and to block where you're going, and block the vision. So I love that. She can also be a great spike planter, I think, because of that. She can like make a direct path to the site and be able to plant the spike, which is a little different for a duelist. I feel like not a lot of duelists are the the spike planters. So it's a little unique. All right. So those are kind of our duelists. The next group is our initiators. You guys are going to see my daughter. Welcome to my streaming. Welcome to streaming with Brittany. I love you. She's always got to make an appearance every single time. Thank you for the hydrate. Hi, friend. Thank you for the hydrate. It's a lot of talking. It was a lot more talking than I anticipated, so I'm gonna need lots of extra hydrates. It's a good thing that I have the liquid IV in here, because yeah, that's definitely, we're gonna be talking a lot. We're gonna be practicing too. It won't be all talking, I swear. Hello, Analog Amber, thank you so much. We will get into a custom lobby. We'll talk about the different game modes, and we're gonna have some hands-on practice. And you're welcome to go into the range if you guys are like, if you have Valorant on your computer or on your game live with me, like definitely go into the range and like follow along, look at all these different agents and all the different groups. That'll be super beneficial. Liquid IV is a voice saver. It definitely is. Which reminds me, you guys can save, I think it's like 10 or 15% on Liquid IV just by being here. I thought we had like a little thing. Maybe we don't. I'll find out more about that. Or one of our mods will. One of our beautiful mods at the Gamers. So the next one is initiators. Initiators are really the playmakers. Let's get a good... Sova is a good kind of introductory... A good introductory initiator. So initiators are the ones who really gather intel. They also help clear space and find out information. And they kind of set the team up for fights based on the intel that they gather. They're going to challenge angles by setting their team up to either contest the round or to help push defenders away. So, for example, Sova has this owl drone. So without sacrificing himself, he can send his drone out to see if he can identify anybody out on site before the team maybe pushes in. Their job is really to kind of flash or recon enemies and help reveal those positions. They're going to help the team enter safely onto the sites and coordinate attacks. And they're going to push the information to the rest of the team. That's the really crucial part. They're not holding on to this information. They're sharing that with the team so that way we can make the best group decision to effectively get onto site. A typical personality fit: you're very communicative, you're very supportive, and you're very curious. You want to know everything that's going on. You don't just like go in guns a-blazing. You really want to see all the information as much as possible so that you can make the best decision. And you're very team-oriented, and you think tactically, right? I do love all of those things, Analog, right? So like I said, your personality, everybody kind of leans towards the duelist because they have the kind of the most aggressive kit. But your personality and how you naturally are is going to make you a better player if you lean into that and you kind of accept your personality type and the role that it is. Mine is a sentinel, which we'll get there. But I have actually been leaning into an initiator a little bit with Tejo. So Tejo also has a little ground drone who crawls on the ground and allows you to see things. Actually, let me switch to him because that'll be a really good example.
My ultimate is ready.
So, for example, he's got... Let's get some pretend enemies over here. I'll go over the range setup and how you guys can do the same thing so you can practice here in just a little bit. But this is his little ground drone. So he can go in before I have to and identify all of those people. So right here it says 10 agents and it suppresses them. So an initiator uses all of that information, and when it says suppress, it's going to let my team know as well automatically. It's going to give them all of that information. So that's the beauty of initiators. Everything that they find out gets pushed to the team so you guys can make an informed decision together. Plus he has cool shades. He really does. He looks pretty legit. I love Tejo. He also has a great kind of bombing ability where you can, what I like to do personally, this is maybe getting a little bit further into ability knowledge and like intermediate levels, but I like to use his E ability to like bring people in more and kind of trap them forward so the bomb pushes them in while we're like pushing at pressure through the front, and it kind of like traps them in an area and controls them a little bit.
All missiles away.
So they're afraid of getting hit by those, and it pushes them forward towards us. That's kind of how I like to. But that's a little bit more intermediate gameplay. So, other beginner-friendly ones other than Sova and Tejo are going to be Skye. She's got some easy healing and flash assists that can help the team. And Fade is also intel-based. She rewards good timing and teamwork. So those are going to be really, really good beginner ones. Alrighty. So I know Analog thinks that she might be an initiator. Does anybody else think that they might be an initiator? And then we're going to go on to my favorite, which is Sentinels. So Sentinels, me, Maxis, yeah. I thought you were a duelist. I thought you were a duelist, mate. I mean, you do like Fade. But I like to be everybody. And that's kind of the beauty. Even if you lean towards one person and one type, learning at least one agent of each role is really going to benefit your team because you can help fill in. That's definitely a more intermediate advanced strategy. I definitely recommend playing who you're comfortable with and who your personality leans to, and kind of learning that agent first before trying to learn others to help role fill. That's playing who you're best at is going to help the team more than trying to force yourself into something that you don't know. So, choose a controller / duelist. With a clove main, yeah, very true. So Sentinels, this is my favorite. Let's go ahead and pick everybody's favorite Sentinel, Sage. Sage is a classic easy Sentinel. She provides so much help, which is why even I think in the pro leagues she's so valid and is still really chosen frequently. Her resurrection ability can just make or break a game, as well as her additional healing. So she's so powerful for being a Sentinel. Sentinels are protectors. It's definitely my main personality type. They defend the sites. They lock down Sage. They lock down the areas and they watch the team's back. They're very much hang back. I've got your back. They're gonna hold flanks, secure positions, heal and protect their teammates, and defend the site when the team decides to rotate away. So that's really important. even though sentinels hang back, we are watching everybody's back when we go to rotate. So a very typical personality type is your patient, observant. You can ask Maxise. She's one of my go-to players. I always am I shouldn't say always. I'm definitely one of the last people alive because I hang back a little bit too much sometimes. And then it's like a 1v5. But they're natural defenders who like stability and who like control. They thrive under that structure. They're not really great in the chaotic situations of a 1v5, for example. And they're really great for those who like to be the team's safety net and who want to be there to support their team. So Sage is a really great beginner agent, as well as Killjoy and Cypher. So this is Cypher and this is Killjoy. You're a smart player. I am a Rambo, she says. I'm smart until I die. So if you're very responsible and you like to keep everyone alive, you're a sentinel. So So, do you guys think you're a sentinel based on that knowledge? And then last is a controller. These are the kind of main strategists. Brimstone is a classic controller that you get right in the beginning. He's an already unlocked agent. You don't have to earn him. Hi, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, I'm trying to hop in back. Ads. I'm so sorry. Ads. I can wait. I can wait maybe like 60 seconds. This will also be recorded, so you guys will be able to come back and watch this too. So that's the good news with that. All of this is going to be available. And then, of course, we have 2 more workshops that we're going to be doing in the future. So make sure you're following the Gamers on their social channels and participating in the app, because those events you can RSVP again. Hopefully, we'll have all the technical stuff figured out since we figured it out this time. And you're going to get even more intermediate and advanced gameplay knowledge to help you guys, especially for that 1v1 me tournament that they are hosting. So, small little plug. Fun tip about Sage I learned last night. You can rotate your wall in any direction. You didn't know that. I did. I feel so special. I knew that, actually. Yes. I didn't know that, and I always rotated my body. Yes. So you can, there's like a quick button for Sage. Actually, let's just go. We could go back to Sage really quick. So, her wall, which is wonderful, you can hit your right click and you can either turn it in any direction, or you can use C to just rotate it 90, which is pretty quick. If you're like, I know I need a vertical line, but if you really want to be strategic, you can like right click and do like a little angle, and her wall will just raise people up if you put it underneath. It's great at blocking and protecting the spike. I just love Sage. She's so versatile. But anywho, we're talking about controllers right now. And what's great about controllers...
Stim beacon down.
That's not the button that I meant. You can tell I never play Brimstone.
Smoke's down.
Are the smokes. This is a key component of controllers. I don't think every single controller, but a good majority of them. Controllers, exactly as it sounds, they shape the battlefield by blocking vision and controlling zones and sites. So they block the views, they trap people in. Yeah, I only use C and then jiggled my body. So they use the smokes or the walls to limit enemy sightlines, to cut off angles, and to support team pushes, anchor down sites, and slow down enemy advances. So if they're trying to rush onto site A, you could put that smoke or a wall, and you could block them, forcing them to rotate where the rest of the team could be, and then eliminating that team. So A typical personality fit, they are thinkers, they're planners, they're multitaskers. They like to set up the team for success. They are supportive in a way, but they're very calm under pressure, and they're very strategic. So they don't just put up the smokes randomly. They know exactly where to put them and when, so that it helps their team the best. And they enjoy that structure and strategic control. Brimstone is a great controller. He is unlocked in the beginning, but probably one of the most popular you're gonna see is Omen. He is a great controller because not only does he have those smoke abilities, but he has a teleporting ability. So you could teleport, behind people and surprise them. Or you can kind of escape. So he's extremely popular as a controller. I see a hand in the Discord. Yes. Wait, is it a hand raise or is it a hello? I might have misread that. I don't think I fully understand Discord sometimes. JK, I think it was just me. Never mind. If you guys ever do have a question, just let me know. The little symbol came up on the left, and so I thought it was like Zoom, where you raise your hand and it announces that someone has a question. But I think I just work from home too much, and I don't think Discord's the same way. All right, so let's take a small little intermission. I want you guys, if you've got Valorant live with you, I want you to go into the range, and how you get into the range is, ooh, don't go to desktop, is on the home screen. There's gonna be this little practice button on the bottom left. You're gonna hit practice, and you're gonna hit the range, and I want you to try to find an agent that matches your personality type. And if we can get a poll, I want to know what role you guys think is your best fit.
My ultimate's
off
ready.
Of hearing these different personality types and kind of what each one does.
My ultimate is ready.
And then I'm gonna take another drink. Oh my gosh, I love watermelon. This flavor, what is this flavor? This one's strawberry watermelon, and it's sugar-free. I'm trying so hard to be sugar-free right now, so I really love that Liquid IV came out with a sugar-free option. I have the Teams notification phantom play in my brain sometimes. Yes. Brimmy is awesome, but his footsteps are so loud. They are. His footsteps are really... I feel like everybody's footsteps... Are they not the same? Do some people genuinely, do some agents genuinely have louder footsteps? I don't even use Teams. I hear it in my brain. So definitely come to the range. What I will say about the range is every player is... You're able to explore every player in the range, but that doesn't mean when you go to play a game that they will be unlocked. You do have to earn the agents and unlock them. So this season we have Vito. So if you play enough, you can unlock him because that's this season's agent. Here we go. This is where I should have really been when I was talking about all the agents. I'm sorry, you guys. We'll hang out here for a minute and we can kind of rotate through them. And you'll also see the description. So down here, it says Sentinel. Sentinels are defensive experts who can lock down areas and watch flanks, both on attacker and defenders. So you can read, and you'll be able to read all of their abilities if you come to the agents. So you can see what each one does. But this little guy right here on the upper right, that's hopefully not blocked by my... It's kind of blocked by my border. I'm going to pull down my game screen just a little bit, just so you guys could see it. There we go. These little kingdom credits, This is how you unlock future agents. So the more you play, the more you get these free little credits, and that's how you can unlock more agents. So if you want to try somebody in the future, that's going to be how you do it. You can play in the range, but I think that's the only option. I can't remember if you can in a custom lobby or not. I don't think the footsteps are, I think it's a brain trick. Yeah, because they're buff, because they're big dudes, so he just has to have heavier footsteps, right? I don't know if that's true, but we'll go with it. So Vito, so this is Tejo, for example. We went over Sova a little bit. He's got that drone. He can shock people with one of his arrows. He's like, oh, what's his name? Legolas from Lord of the Rings. That's who he reminds me of. He's like a techie Legolas. Reyna, this is Reyna, who we talked about. Very popular, because her kit is really designed for her. You can be a little bit more selfish when you play with her. But despite being selfish, you still are trying to help the team with getting those eliminations. So it's selfish, but in a team way, you know. We talked about Neon a little bit. ISO is a really great duelist. He's also a little bit selfish. He has a shield that he could put over himself. So if you need like a fraction of a second, you can get that by having that shield. And every time you get an elimination, there's something that pops up. It's like a soul orb that pops up, and if you click on that and shoot that, your shield will last longer. He's also got an energy field that blocks bullets as it goes out. So I really encourage you guys to go through all of these characters and kind of see which one fits your personality type. I was gonna put in a poll. I don't know if I could do that quickly. I have to pull on the given channel? Yeah, we won't do that. I'll just skip that. But if you guys type in the chat, that would be super great. I want to hear you guys' responses. I'm very, very curious because most people, I think their first inclination is to just go to duelist. But I think there's a lot more variety than people realize in the roles that they're picking. All right. Movement. We're going to go back to the range. Because next to picking your agent, this is the next, probably most important, honestly, probably even more important than picking your agent, is going to be mastering movement and aim. And the best way to practice that is in the range. So Valorant has a very, very heavy movement tax. And what I mean by that is the more you move, the more your bullets spray all over the place. Valorant is a game of
ready.
Very, very precise movements. And so learning how to not move while you're shooting is probably the hardest skill of the game. And that's why it's so competitive, and that's why it gets incredibly difficult for beginners. So just standing in place, you can see my recoil. You see that line, how it kind of goes up. Now, if I'm even moving, you see how it gets even worse? Look how high that went. That is what we kind of call the movement tax, or like a movement penalty. That movement, trying to shoot at the same time, you're basically missing what would be an entire person. It's going completely around them. The literal only way to avoid that is to not move when you shoot. And that's very contradictory to pretty much I'm trying to like go through my Rolodex of games, and every game pretty much has that. I have been having some fun trying Killjoy. I love Killjoy. Killjoy is one of my favorite Sentinels as well. So like I'm a big Sentinel main. Sage and Killjoy are my main two, and I've been like experimenting more with Tejo. I don't think I'm doing a great job at it yet, but you know, we're getting there. Every agent has their own little tips and tricks kit. You could probably spend an hour or more on tips and tricks with every individual agent. So like learning one and really trying to master it is a great way to go to set yourself up for success. I love KJ. But you won't be able to find the one that you like until you kind of pick and choose a few. So definitely explore in the range and in some Swift plays. We'll talk about what Swift play is in a little bit, but back to the movement tax. You guys are distracting me. No, I'm just kidding. I love it. Keep talking in the chat. Chat is always welcome. Questions are always welcome. Comments are always welcome. I absolutely love it. So, the range is going to be your best friend with learning this movement task because it is a safe place for you to practice the movements without obviously being attacked from an enemy team and without that high pressure. It's very low stakes. It's a lot calmer. So a great warm-up to do is always just coming into the range and playing around. If you look down at this menu, you have a few different ways that you can practice. I definitely just come in here and pick what you would like. Practice is where all of the bots just come up and you can just practice shooting them in a very kind of very low stakes. The start button is the settings. If you kind of look over here on the left-hand side, it says shooting range. That is your settings for the skills test. The skills test is just like a timer-based practice setup to try to eliminate as many bots as possible under whatever circumstances you put into the range. So if you want easy, if you want them to strafe, which is what moving back and forth is called, you can do that. If you want ammo on them to make it harder, you can. So you can really customize whatever settings you want and just start practicing. It's going to be the best way to improve. So a great transition into strafing. What is strafing? Because that's going to come up a lot in Valorant. Strafing is simply the movement of moving left to right on your keyboard. That's typically your A and D. Just moving back and forth. That's going to be strafing. So this is the secret to being able to move and stop and shoot. That's your basic movement in Valorant. So you're going to move, shoot, move, shoot. And the more that you practice that, the better that you will get. If you slow it down enough, if you move too fast, see, I start having the recoil and the spray that just is absolutely nowhere to where I am aiming. But we shoot, stop, shoot, chafe, shoot. If you just practice that, that's going to be your key. Ah, thank you so much. Thank you for the hype. You're so sweet, Maxies. With the movement and the aim, I mean, you could always use something like Aim Labs, but that's for like really super sweaty tryhards. So unless you're like hoping to jump right in and be a sweaty super pro Valorant player, you can get away with warming up in the range. It's going to be perfectly fine. Generally, having a lower DPI, which if you don't know what DPI is, that's the sensitivity on your mouse, is going to be better. I'm not going to talk about a lot about it today because I think that's more of an intermediate skill set, but we're going to talk about that in the next workshop, and you can use those settings to optimize your movement and your aiming as well. The last little bit for movement and aiming that we're going to talk about is obviously the aim. So we know, actually pop quiz, like what does anybody know how you instantly eliminate another player. Maxis, you can't answer. I want to hear from someone else. Unless no one else answers, and then Maxis, you can answer. How do you eliminate another player instantly? A headshot. There you go. Perfect. So, this is a game of headshots. So, when we're talking headshots, where do you want to keep your crosshair and your aim? Anybody? I'm looking at chat. I'm looking at chat. The head. There you go. See? You guys are so smart. So, with a game that focuses on headshots and eliminating... I don't know. No. Head or slightly above. Exactly. With a game that puts that extra emphasis on headshots, the best thing that you could do to set yourself up for success, even if you think you have terrible aim, is keeping your crosshair at head height. I could have my hand not on the mouse, and if my mouse is on head height, then no matter where I move, generally, we're going to be at head height. Even if I'm moving left and right, even if I'm moving forwards or backwards, we're generally going to be at head height. Now, obviously, that changes a little bit as we go uphill and downhill, but for the predominant part of moving, if you are head height and your crosshair is head level, then you're going to be able to clip those headshots a lot easier because you're going to be at head height. To make that a little bit easier, I really recommend having a smaller crosshair. You can see that my crosshair is just this tiny pink dot. It's really not big. It's not taking up a lot of my screen. That's kind of another thing I'm not going to delve too much into because there's so many different crosshair styles. I've seen really cute ones like little flowers that are small, all the way to just very basic white crosshairs. You could spend hours talking about crosshair design. For beginners, I really recommend just something small. You're going to come into your settings and we have an actual crosshair setting. I recommend just coming in here and kind of creating something or even Googling something that is really small, crisp, clean, and that doesn't block. I have mine as pink because I want to see it. And of course, I'm just, pink Brit. My favorite color is pink. So I gotta have me some pink crosshairs. But you could have any color you want. You can make it really any size you want. Come in here and play around a little bit. You might need a slightly bigger one. Maybe you don't need the outlines like the actual cross. Maybe you just need a little bit of a dot. Go in the range and play around with it. You don't want it to obstruct your view too much. You do want to see what's going on and being able to see the head heights and actually see the heads of your enemy agents. Bonus question, what gun can you eliminate a player with full shields with one headshot? I think I know this one. Before I reveal it. Actually, it might be two. Yeah. I was about to say, I was like, I think there's actually more than one. So, yeah. So the operator can just one-shot anyone, I think, with full shields, if I am not mistaken. And then your Vandal can one-shot with full shields. Right? Yeah. Dubious Winter. See, now we got some discussion. Maxis, you're going to have to reveal the answer. Woo! I love the emoji. Woo, 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 woo. And that's something that we're going to talk about kind of in the next workshop as well, too, is going to be like all of these finer details and weapon choices, shield specs and things like that. So we're gonna start diving real deep starting the next workshop. This one's just gonna be really high level overview. So back to movements. There are 4 basic types of movements. You can obviously walk forwards and backwards and side to side. You can also crouch, which makes you a little bit lower. So obviously if I crouch, I'm not really at head level anymore. I'm at chest. See how they're not being eliminated right away? And then jumping. And then we have walking. So this is kind of running with my weapon. If I hit my spacebar, we now are walking and my footsteps are silent. So each one has its proper time and place to use, obviously. Walking is extremely common. This walking with the silent footsteps, it allows you to safely cut the pie, as they call it. We will talk about that in the next lesson. But it's going to let you see things at a slower pace, be a little bit more sneaky. Your footsteps aren't heard, so the enemy team is not going to know where you are. See, I was walking. That's something I really struggle with. Shooting and walking. See how that was nowhere on my crosshair? You need to stop fully and then shoot. I have to like take my hand off the keyboard sometimes to remind myself of that. Everyone's a winner. Oh, and Guardian. The answer is Vandal. All snipers and the Sheriff in close range. I don't know if the Marshal does. Not with full shields. The Marshal, I think, is still a 2-tap, I think. I'm trying to... I know with light shields it is, but not. Fortnite, it is not. Dubious, you are so right. It is not Fortnite. No, it is a very slow, methodical game. For being a first-person shooter, it is not as like fast-paced and intense as you would think it would be. A lot of the game is very slow, walking and being as precise as possible with your aim, which is why it's so competitive. So the more that you can practice your movement and your aim, the better you are going to be at Valorant. So, oh, and then the knife. I completely forgot about the knife. Your knife, you can eliminate people with. Does take a little bit, but this is your fastest running speed. So if you hold your knife, you will run faster. Your gun is your secondary speed, and then your walking is your slowest movement speed. Almost forgot. Knife, everyone. I love my little singularity knife. It's like the only bundle I have is the singularity. You can, yep, go up and if they have full shields, it takes a while though. Like it takes 3 shots versus boom, 1 with a Vandal. So ideally, you're gonna want that. Crouching is not used. I should probably phrase that differently. Some people use crouching. It can be a bad habit if you do not use it correctly. Typically, it is used to hide behind, you know, if you're trying to hide behind this, for example. Oh, that was my jump. You want to crouch behind and hide so you can, like, pop out and shoot someone. You know, that's really more when it's used, as well as the Odin, you know, any assault rifles to get a little bit more, there we go, stable, as you see my poor shooting skills. So ultimately, you're going to be standing still or you're going to be strafing. Like, when you're shooting, you're either going to be coming back and forth like this, going left, shoot, shoot, shoot. And that's something I actually love to do. I like to come to one of these poles, and that is one way that I practice strafing and shooting. It's just coming and trying to shoot the same point and lifting on my A and D key. There is something called counter strafing that is a much more advanced technique. When you get 2 bullets like this is called bursting. Get up to 3. There we go. See, it's not as easy. You really have to practice your, oh, thank you so much. You really have to practice your mouse pressing and how long you're pressing on it to get your single, double, or triple burst. It really does take a lot of time and emphasis. So come in here, play around with your movements, play around and find things. See, if I was moving, like, it's just nowhere even the same. Like, it's not even where I'm aiming. So I cannot emphasize enough, don't walk and shoot at the same time. That is like the main thing that I can teach you. Don't walk and shoot at the same time. All right. Does anyone have anything on movement before we go into economy basics? I think we'll actually go into game modes and then economy basics, I think. And then maybe we could do a jump peak. So we're gonna cover peaking in the next one. This one's like really super basic. I mean, a brand new person might peek accidentally without really understanding what a peek is. I'm trying to find a good place where I can like peek. So peeking is exactly what it sounds like. It's just like you're using an angle or something to peek and gather information to see where the enemy team is. You might do that probably unknowingly in a game as a beginner without even knowing what it's called. But with all the different styles, we're going to go over that in the next workshop. We're definitely going to talk about the jump peak, the jiggle peak, and all of those things. That's a little bit more intermediate to advanced. So we're going to save that for the second one. And we're going to get super technical to level up your gameplay in that one. Hopefully we're still learning some things, even fundamentally, that you may not have known about. And hopefully we're bringing in some new people who've never played Valorant before. Hopefully seeing this makes you want to play Valorant and it doesn't feel as intimidating, and everybody will feel welcome and ready to jump into their first game of Valorant. That's my goal by the end of this, is that somebody who's never played feels comfortable enough to jump into a Swift play or an unrated game. So hopefully we'll get there. So actually with that, let's go into game modes. We'll go into game modes and then we'll go into buying economy. And then that's really, I think, all that I had. We could do a custom with some of our wonderful people in the Discord and see what you've learned. Like we can kind of play around, and yeah. I already feel like the walking and stopping advice is much different than Fortnite or Apex. Definitely. Apex is probably one of the only first-person shooter games that I haven't really played. I've watched my son play it a few times, but I might have played like once. I've played Call of Duty like a handful of times. Like when I say Battlefield I've played, when I say I've done first-person shooters, I've done a lot of first-person shooters / hero shooters / shooters. It's definitely very different. Fortnite, you have to be able not only to like run and shoot, but slide and shoot. Halo, gosh, I remember when Halo first came out and like jumping was the thing. If you could jump and shoot people. Oh, I hated jumpers in Halo. It was just the worst. Oh, here we go. So at the bottom, it's kind of hard to see. Right above your start button, these words, this is going to kind of explain all of the different game types. I thought I had this in windowed. I must not. That's okay. Here, actually, we're gonna change it really quick. Apply. Confirm. Window. Apply. Confirm. Error rate. Nope, that still didn't really do it. That's okay. So down here with these words, this is going to describe the game mode in case you ever forget. So don't feel like you have to memorize this today. It will tell you at the bottom what each game mode is. So unrated right here, this is going to be your standard. I remember those Halos days, right? It wasn't always great. It's like great in hindsight looking back. You're like, oh, Halo, such fond memories. But then you actually go and play. Like I play Halo Infinity sometimes and I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst. Oh, the Halo days. I do, and I played, I think they call it Tactical Slayer now. It used to be called SWAT. And I used to play, it was basically headshots. It was headshots only. You had no abilities, you had no other things, and I think that's one reason why I leaned towards Valorant and wanted to play Valorant, because I was like, it's the same thing, it's headshots, I'm great at that. But it's very different. That movement is very, very different. The crouching, the jumping, and all of that stuff, you cannot really get away with doing that in Valorant. So, unrated is going to be your standard game mode. This is the non-ranked 5 versus 5 where you plant and defuse the spike. You get the 13 rounds, you get the whole total buying economy that we're going to go over, and it's the best place to practice full round strategy without the rank pressure. You're going to learn the team coordination, you're going to be able to practice the agent abilities, all of the different angles or things like that. It completely mirrors ranked without the pressure of losing your rank. So if you want to experiment with new lineups or anything safely, this is going to be your game mode. And I'll also preface with every game mode I think has value to your gameplay. Some are way more fun than others, some are way more serious than others. But every game mode, if your goal is to play competitively and play in comp and rank up, I think every game mode has something to offer. So Escalation, for example, is really silly, really fun, but I love it. Escalation is really fast-paced. You're on a team with 5 other people, and your weapons change after every elimination. So you are forced to learn weapons and to learn how they operate. I love Escalation for the snow gun. That's probably the only one that you will not use in any other game mode. But it forces you to get comfortable with all of the weapons. You're going to use shotguns, you're going to use rifles, you're going to use pistols, you're going to use assault rifles, you're going to use everything. And so you have to, in order to get to the next round in the escalation, as you go up, every round your weapon changes. You have to land your shot, otherwise you're not going to go up to the next tier weapon. And it's completely random. You might start with a Vandal, and then, 4 rounds later, you're going to go down to a pistol. So it's not always like the worse off weapons or like the lower tier weapons to hire. It's just totally random. And like Maxie said, you're going to have some fun ones. There's a snowball gun. You're going to use Raze's like little robot grenade. So there's a few different things that you have to learn, and it'll help you with your aim and help you with your angles and peeking. It's on all of the same maps, so you still learn the map gameplay and things like that. Oh, I forgot to switch. Sorry. So this is Escalation, so you can read the bottom. Eliminate enemies to advance your team's arsenal. Cycle through a series of 12 randomized weapons, and the first to complete the series wins. The last one I think is usually a knife fight, so that's pretty fun. It's either a knife fight or a pistol, so that's pretty fun. Deathmatch. Deathmatch is the bane of my existence. But it is such a good warm-up. It's just so hard. If you talk to any pro Valorant player, they're going to tell you that deathmatch is probably one of the best warm-ups you can do, and it's the best place to practice keeping your aim at head height and to practice your crosshair placement. There's no abilities, there's no objectives. It's strictly aiming. It's also a great place to practice your flick accuracy. When I first started playing, I only did DMs because I was afraid to have teammates. That's super brave, honestly, because I'm afraid to play deathmatch because, like, Valorant to me is like a jump scare game. Like, I just die around every corner and I like jump and like get scared. I hate deathmatch, but like it truly does make you a better player. Like it really is one of the best ways to practice. You'll learn map angles, peak spots, and definitely like great places to watch for the headshots. The face of screaming for all of the jump scares is key. Yes. If you do not scream and jump when you first play Valorant, I don't think you're playing right. Oh, I love watermelon. Just watermelon and anything is so good. Makes me sad summer is over though. It is pumpkin season, so I'll allow it, but okay, Spike Rush. Spike Rush is a shorter game with added power-up orbs and randomized weapons. You still play it defuse or eliminate the enemy team to win rounds, and the first 4 wins. It helps you practice quick decision making. You have to really pay attention to your ability usage a little bit more, and adapting to some different loadouts. So again, still something that you can learn from Spike Rush. There's things that you can learn in all of these game modes. Because the rounds are so fast, it can train your team to read strategies a little bit quicker and to capitalize on short-term opportunities. So you have to process the environment faster, and so you have to process your guys' objective a little bit quicker. Obviously, a custom lobby, it allows you to do anything and everything, which is great. You could set up a personal drill or a 1v1, like what we're going to be doing with the Gamers 1v1 me tournament. We're going to see who the best duelist is. So if you guys want more information on that, small plug, definitely go download the app or go to the Gamers website and follow all of their socials for more info on that. You are going to be able to win a cool, crisp $100 MasterCard gift card, I believe, is the prize for that tournament. So if you want a nice, yes, definitely go check it out. And you can practice in a custom lobby. That's where we're going to be doing those 1v1s, is the Gamers custom lobby. And it also, if you just want to place, say, as practicing Omen or Clove, and where you want to put those smokes, and without the pressure of an enemy team shooting at you, learning where to hide behind a wall, maybe using Reyna's Blind, because Reyna's Blind, the Leer ability, you can actually use through walls, which I didn't honestly know until recently because I don't really play duelists. That can actually go through a wall. So practicing all of those little nooks and crannies is really great in a 1v1 because you can't do that in the range. Even though you can practice the ability, you're not going to be able to practice those precise spots and placements. And so a custom lobby by yourself even is a great way to do that. The last, or second to last, is Swifties. Swift Play, it's one of my favorites. It's one of the most popular gameplay versions, honestly, in Valorant. It's a shorter game of Valorant with a simplified economy. Plant, defuse, or eliminate. It's the first to 5. So take unrated, shorten it to 5 points, and you've got a Swift Play. You still have to understand buying economy. The credits and usage is a little bit different, but it's still relatively the same. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I'm not used to talking so much. You would think, I mean, I do stream, but this is a lot. A lot of information. I hope it's not talking too much. Please let me know if it's too much information overload for you guys. So it's perfect when you're doing great. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. So it's perfect when you want like real match pacing, but you don't want the 30 to 45 minute time commitment of an unrated game. So that is the thing about unrated. It can take a really, really long time, especially if you're going with a very competitive team that is at your skill level. You could go into those overtime rounds that just last forever. Swift play is a great way to get around that. So it's really, really great for testing new agents. If you're like, I just want to try this out, you get 5 rounds. You get to try them out in real gameplay versus the range, and you just can end it in like 10 or 15 minutes. It's awesome. I love it. And then Team Deathmatch. Team Deathmatch is a little bit different. It's different maps than what is normally featured in Unrated. 45-minute rounds. Also, me will not surrender at 45 minutes in League of Legends. That's exactly right. That's hilarious. Exactly. It's the same. Yeah. There's it can be really long. That's what's kind of nice and like not nice about it. So you do get an abundance of time to try to understand what the other team is doing and understand your own team strategy. It's not like it's over in the first 3 or 5 rounds. I've even had teams where it was like 8-0 and the 0-point team ended up winning the whole thing. Like when it switches, when you guys switch sides from attackers to defenders or defenders to attackers, the whole game can change. It's a whole new game starting over. So it really can take 45 minutes, but it's kind of nice. I do enjoy that sometimes. When I don't have the time, that's where I do a swift play. Escalation I also love, but it does tend to have a higher wait time. So fair warning for that. But Team Deathmatch is a little different, like I said, because the maps aren't the same. So if you're trying to practice map like topography and like the lay of the land, Team Deathmatch isn't probably the best one to do. You are on teams. It's ability enabled Team Deathmatch on different sets of maps. You progress through a series of increasingly powerful loadouts, and the first team to 100 wins. So a little bit different, but you can still learn things. It kind of bridges the gap between standard deathmatch and full games by keeping abilities active. So your practice gunfights and your utility usage are learned together. And it can help build combat rhythm and like movement still. You still get movement practice with the shooting and things like that. So there's still things to take away from it if you're a little bit intimidated by regular deathmatch like me. You can still do that. And then of course, the last and the coveted competitive ranked standard Valorant with a ranked ladder. You prove your skills. This is like the exam after everything that you have learned and practiced. No room for error, no room for mistakes. This is where you go to just go be a sweat, go be sweaty. It helps you be consistent, of course, competitive. Spend 3 years in bronze. Okay, I'm afraid to show you guys my rank, because then I feel like you're gonna be like, we should not listen to this girl. I've never actually played ranked until this season, so because I've been so terrified of it. And admittedly, Marvel Rivals took me away for a little bit. I'm kind of Marvel Rivals obsessed. So, but I do love Valorant. I love how competitive it is because I am such a competitive person. And for those of you who don't know, I am a mom. So you saw my little one in here, but I also have a 12-year-old. We could do as you say, not as what you do, right? I was telling my friend Maxis, who's here, what is the phrase about teachers? Those who can do and those who can't teach. That's me. And game sense is game sense. But my son, he's 12, he actually plays on a Valorant team and a Marvel Rivals competitive team, so that's where I have a lot of my experience. I meant to say this in the beginning, but with our technical errors, I just jumped right in. So I used to work for a children's esports league, the same one that my son competes at. I was an operations manager, and of course I'm just a lifelong gamer. I love first-person shooters. There's just something so fun about the competitiveness about it. And so I love Valorant, I love Marvel, Halo, and Fortnite, and just all different kinds of shooters. So, yeah, so that's really it. I mean, competitive is where you're going to go to test everything. It's going to make you consistent. It's going to be where you prove yourself if you really want to. Refine your communication. In all of the other game modes, maybe even unrated, you don't have to talk as much. But you're going to have to talk or provide some kind of communication in competitive play. So I'm going to go ahead and get into a custom lobby with just myself for a second so I can show those communications. And then that's really going to be it. All right, you guys get to pick the agent. What agent do you want me to use? It's just me, myself, and I, but if you're really curious about one of the agents, this is all I have unlocked, unfortunately. So we've got Yoru, or ISO. Oh my god, can't believe I just said that. ISO, Omen, Neon, Sova, Vice, Teho, Vito, Blaze. What you think? Jet? Oh my gosh. I'm so bad with Jet. But I can do it. I might be able to change my player. I don't actually know.
Cool. Let's go.
And buying economy. So we have two things to go over. Communication and buying economy. And then we're done, you guys. And then I could play like one Swifty, I guess, if you guys really want, or I could do a custom lobby. I would love to know from the people in the Discord if they want to do a game together. And then, of course, we're going to have some homework before our next workshop, which is going to be in November. Gotta show new players how to buy a skin. She's a duelist, whoops. Yeah, she is a duelist. Can I even buy? I can. Oh, we're in like a full custom. Okay, so this is not what I would ever do, but I didn't realize there was a timer. I thought I would get to like I'd get to like show a little bit more about the buying economy and stuff in the custom. Well, so it's just me, myself, and I. So I mean, this is a good example though of showing like the practice of a custom. There's no pressure, so you can kind of practice where you would normally peek or where you would like set things up. You can kind of, if you just want to explore the map, you could go around quickly. If you're like, oh, I always have trouble, you know, getting over this wall, you could just come over here and keep practicing and being like, oh man, why can't I ever get up there? Like, you could just come in here and practice. I'm not really trying to do that, by the way. I was trying to just fail on that one. But see, can't go up with her. So if you really want to practice, like, customs really are a good way to do that. It wasn't a great example for the
30
buying
seconds
economy,
left.
but and I don't have the spike. I think it's kind of weird that it gives you the time frame and everything still when you're in like a custom lobby by yourself. It's kind of odd. Do it though. It's a trap, guys. Don't look at the shop. Oh, it's such a trap.
10 seconds left.
It's such a trap. Don't ever go to the shop. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the range to show the buying economy. So that way I can actually pause and be on the screen to show you guys that stuff. I guess I might have to go back.
My
to the custom
ultimate's
actually.
ready.
We're just all over the place. It's okay. Okay, so buying economy. There's honestly so many different strategies when it comes to buying economy. Like there's so many micro strategies. We're not really going to focus on those today. There's a lot of different things that you can do. Ultimately, you want to communicate with your team on whatever your team thinks is the best thing to do. Generally, that is kind of what's advised. This is your buy menu. This is what it's going to look like on the screen when your game loads and when you go in to buy. This is what you're going to use to purchase your abilities and your equipment at the start of the game. It's called credits. You're going to receive 800 caveat. This, the credit breakdown I'm about to give you is strictly for unrated and comp. It's not for Swift Play, and it's not for any of the other game modes that might involve buying credits. So, small caveat. So you're going to receive 800 credits at round 1. Generally, this is called the pistol round. You can go as high as you want with the sheriff if you really want to try to secure those kills right away. If you want to try to save, you can stay with the classic. That's your free weapon. Ignore the 999 credits right here behind. Oh, you can't see it. Let me move my face really quick. There we go. So up here, this is going to tell you how many credits you have available at the start of your round. Mine says 99,000 because we're in the range, but normally that's going to start out in the 800 range. Oh, I had a pop-up and I was like, what? Each kill you get is 200 credits. This is where precise gameplay and like precise headshots is going to come in. The more eliminations you get, the more credits that are going to become available to you. And that's a good thing. You're going to use that to buy your abilities, to buy shields, etc. Planting the spike is going to give everybody on the team 300 credits. That's why it's really important to play the objective. Everybody will get credits when that spike is planted, but you also have to make sure you are defending that spike. If you win the round, you get the 3,000 credits. If you lose the round, your team is only going to get 1,900 credits. Now, if your team loses twice in a row, then you'll get 2,400, and heaven forbid you lose 3 in a row, you are going to get 2,900. If you die, you are going to have to pay to replace your weapon. That weapon does not come with you into every round unless you survive the round. So, survivability is also very, very important. Otherwise, you are going to be spending all of your credits on trying to buy weapons, abilities, and shields. And we don't want to do that. You want to try to keep your funds to help your team or to replace the abilities that you use each round versus the expensive weapons. I don't know if I can sell. Let me try to switch.
My ult is ready.
Yeah, see, I come full. This is why I wanted to go into a thing. So normally these abilities are going to be empty and you're going to see a cost. They're usually a much less expensive range. They're going to be anywhere from 200 to probably 600, depending on the agent. And depending on the credit situation, this is going to look like a very wide variety of things. You're going to have things like full buys or half buys that we're going to explain here in a little bit. But it really is going to depend on your team. If your team wants to save or think it's a better idea to save, then you might need to hold back. Again, this is where communication with your team is going to become really important. So the first round in the game is always the pistol round, and the round after switching sides is also the pistol round. Generally, you don't want to overspend but anything that can help you or that can help your team. So maybe spending on abilities versus your pistol could be a good idea. Anything that's really going to secure that upfront advantage into the next round. Some people choose a light shield and a very basic ability. Some choose a heavier pistol if they're really confident, a confident duelist with that crosshair placement and with that aim. They may choose a sheriff. It just kind of depends. So you're going to want to learn how you play in the beginning, and you're going to want to see what your team is purchasing, and maybe go a little bit off of that. The saving round, this is when you buy as little as humanly possible. You'll take the risk of trying to find a better gun on the floor. So after someone is eliminated, you can pick up their weapon. You're going to risk it for the biscuit. You're not going to buy one. You're going to try to find one. And you're going to take a hit for a round loss just so that you can save for a full economy buy in the next round. That could be the gun, the shield, and the abilities. Of course, a full buy, like I just said, that's full rifle or machine guns or an operator, you know, depending. But basically a top tier weapon, a full 1,000 cost, heavy armor shield, and all of your abilities. Every single one, that's going to be a full buy. In between those, there's really, like, there's going to be a lot that you could do. I've seen in the second round, like, purchasing a Marshall because that can get through light armor. There's a lot of micro strategies when it comes to buying, but those are really your first three that you want to know as a beginner. Your pistol round, your full buy, and your save. All of the specs are going to be off to the right-hand side, so you can see how much damage something does to a person, to the head, to the body, and to the lower part of the body. You're going to see the spread, the recoil, any additional abilities that it may have, or features, such as the Odin. On the very bottom it says feature. The rate of fire increases over time. You're really going to want to pay attention to those so you can make the most effective purchase with your credits that you possibly can. Generally, the Vandal. The Vandal is kind of like the #1 weapon in Valorant. It does that one tap headshot with the heavy armor, as well as the operator. The Odin I don't think does, but it's so fast it kind of looks like it does. I mean, it's a beast. The Odin can also shoot through some boxes and like walls and things like that in Valorant, so you gotta pay real close attention if somebody's buying an Odin. But that is the very, very basics of credits.
I'm gonna buy.
You can use these communication buttons.
Who needs a buy?
To let people know that you want to save, or that they have extra credits. And then to buy, you're gonna left click on said gun of your choice. And to sell, so if you change your mind, if you're like, oh no, I didn't want the Phantom, I actually want the Vandal, you're gonna right click, and that will sell it back so you get your credits back. You can also request by clicking right click on a chosen weapon, and if your teammate has extra credits, hopefully they will purchase it for you. Odin on Lotus, right? That map is the worst. I hate the Lotus map. I don't know what it is about it. I don't know if it's because of the middle sight, but it drives me nuts. All right. So that's your very, very super basics of buying economy. You're going to learn micro strategies as you start to play. You're going to understand, maybe I shouldn't. Like, we've lost a few. I'm obviously not getting a lot of eliminations this round, so I think I need to save for some stronger util and for some stronger weapons. You'll start to learn those as you continue to play. I remember what I went to the custom for in the first place, and that was communication buttons. I kind of forgot and got lost in it because of the time. The timer scared me on that. And I just missed. Okay. I don't. Does it? We'll just pick Reyna. It doesn't super matter. And then what? Do I just do? Are we just gonna end it, or should I do like a Swift play? I don't know if you guys want to see me play a Swiftie. That's gonna be. That might not be fun. I'd love to do a custom or to like bring a couple people in. I do a Swiftie or something like that. A custom would be better because then I could control the audio and stuff of everybody. I could mute everybody on like a Swift play or something. But so this is normally what your buy screen is going to look like, just so you know. You don't have enough credits, so stuff's going to be grayed out. It's going to show you everything that you do have available, and you're going to see it's going to tell you a minimum that you might need the next round and what you have available. So generally, I like to go with a ghost and an ability. I like to try to stack up on my abilities, and that's that B button on my keyboard to buy. It's going to tell you right under buy phase, it says press B to buy, so it's going to tell you how to do that. And then your communications, you can always type in the chat, so you'll see it pop up on that bottom left. You're going to hit enter, and you can chat. You can be like, let's go, A. You can hit the caps lock. Small caveat, of course, an asterisk. This is my keybinds. Most of them are the same keybinds. But if you change them, or if they have changed, you just might want to look at your keybind buttons. So if you hit caps lock, that's going to show a bigger version of your map. Oh, Whisper, hi. maybe Maxis and I can 1v1. If you left click anywhere, that is going to ping a location. You could also press and hold that left, so you can do a specific ping instead of just putting a little dot. You could say, like, I need help over here, and it's going to come up on that little left map for your
30
team.
seconds left.
It's going to say, oh, they need support over there. Or danger. So that little red one, you see how it pops up. That's going to tell your team that there's people over there. I don't know if I have enough time before the round ends, but on my map, you'll see this little
10 seconds
cone
left.
shape, this like off-white looking color. It's very Odinable. That is going to be your line of sight, and anything that takes place in that line of sight is going to be revealed on the map. So you can see how that off-white switches. Remember, we're looking at like this off-white here when it pops up in my upper left corner. That is going to be your line of sight, and anything that happens, any enemies that pop up, or maybe a turret from KJ that's seen, that is going to display to the rest of your teammates. So looking at your map, just looking at that and looking around is a very good way to communicate to your teammates. The last thing is the comm wheel. Mine, because I have a gaming mouse, I have 2 thumb buttons on my mouse that I have for my comm menu. You might be able to change it on yours, but we have some tactical options that you can say, like
Rush them.
rush. So you could say like rush them, and then, you know, ping to B, because you think they're on site B. You could say,
I need healing.
I need heals, which gets pinged to me a lot when I'm Sage. We have combat ones, so if somebody's asking something, if they have a mic, maybe you don't.
Yes.
Yes, you could say yes or no.
Nope.
Stick together. And then there's some social ones where there's just like,
Thank you.
thanks, or sorry.
Forgive me.
You want to
We've
encourage
got
them.
this.
We've got it. There's plenty of things to make communication possible if you don't feel comfortable miking up, which a lot of girls don't. So
30 seconds
hopefully
left.
you guys feel the confidence to mic up, but if you don't, there are plenty of options so that you can still communicate
here.
effectively with your team. All right. Well, I think that is the last
10 seconds
thing
left.
that I really had for you guys. Do you guys have any questions on anything? Was there something that wasn't covered basic and fundamental wise that you really wanted to know about? My goal is to really try to touch on everything. So if you had never even heard of Valorant before, you could come in and you could play your first game confidently and know kind of what to do and what to expect. Anybody in the Discord? Or do you guys want to see a game? I could do a Swifty. I could do just one Swifty. I don't want to like totally do my own gameplay or anything, because this is like a team activity at a workshop. But what do you guys think? Come on, chat. See, I didn't slice my pie there to make sure nobody was hiding. Anything that your heart desires is funsies. I don't know. I think that's really it that I had for this time. So we can go ahead and disperse if you guys want. Thank you so much for everybody, seriously. So sorry about all of the technical things that came up. You're just not a streamer unless there's some technical issues.
30 seconds
right?
left.
We'll go ahead and do one Swifty just so you guys can kind of see some live gameplay. I'll make sure to I'm gonna turn everything off as far as chat and everything. I'll put this down here so we can cover the chat. And I'm gonna I normally wouldn't do this because I do want to communicate with my teammates, but the beauty of Swift play is it's low stakes and no one generally cares. So I'm going to turn off the chat and I'm going to turn off the audio so that nobody comes in, just because it's not my stream, it's not my normal thing. So if you guys do ever want to see that, you could go to, there are plenty of Valorant streamers, but we're going to turn it off just for today.
Match found.
And maybe I'm going to let you guys pick who I play. Maybe. Oh, I can't turn it off from here, can I? I'm gonna play KJ.
Oh yes, I've already thought of everything.
Okay, I'm gonna mute. I'm just gonna mute the game in case somebody starts talking for a minute until I can get to the settings menu, and then I'll turn it back on. Click on your sound button. Oh, that's right. Thank you. I totally forgot about those down here. Thank you. See? There's always something to learn. Click on your button. I'll turn myself off. So, in case you are ever doubting when you come into a game, on the right-hand side, it does give the description. You can look at everybody's abilities really quick if you forget, and then it'll also tell you what role they are, the duelist, the sentinel, etc. So you never have to come in feeling like you have to memorize everything about every agent. You can come in, wow, we have 2 sentinels, awesome. So see, we're going to talk about more balanced team composition in the next workshop, you know, having an appropriate balance of like what smokes and the support and the healing and things like that, and what a balanced team composition looks like. I really just want to get people comfortable today with being able to choose someone and to start practicing. And we'll see how it goes. Maybe because there's people watching, I'll actually be better than I normally am. I did not warm up, really. So we will see. So we are defending. So I am gonna go with a ghost and an alarm bot, because this means that we do not have the spike, and we want to make sure that they don't plant the spike. I'm gonna follow some of my teammates so they are not alone. This site, or this map, has 2 sites that they could go to, A or B. There is a middle courtyard, but there's not a site there. You can only plant the spike on a site. Although I should have put my turret up. So see, we've got a wall to try to block our vision. I'm gonna put the turret up here. Oh, see, that was terrible. That was too late. I shouldn't have done that. See?
Spike down B. Last player standing.
Look at that gun. That's pretty fun. Oh, it's a Zed gun. I love Zed. I love EDM music, you guys. So this is, see how quick it can go? So they eliminated our whole team as the attackers, so therefore they won the round. So now we're in our second round. With Swift Play, you get more credits, so like I said, it's not quite the same. So I'm gonna go for a Spectre. I want this. I want to try his gun out. And I'm gonna put my turret mid in case anybody comes through there. That's the beauty of KJ. You've always got something to watch your flank. But if you look at my map, I only have that white circle. If I leave that white circle, then my turret won't work. Oh, so my turret's now red, which means it found somebody, and we saw somebody get eliminated. Globe is using his smoke so that I cannot see as effectively. Ah! You can blind your own teammates and yourself, just so you know.
Careful now.
Oh, yep, my turret heard it a second too late.
Spike planted.
So my turret went off and I went to look, but I had already been eliminated.
One enemy
but I
remaining.
did not look that direction. And that's gonna come to peeking. Like I said, that's slicing the pie that I'm really bad at that. I do not slice the pie very effectively. And that's something I need to get better at. I kind of just like rush in when I hear action going on. And then you just have goofing off in Swift Place, which was always fun. But we won that round because we eliminated the team. So that's why we got a point on our scoreboard. We're just gonna full buy now because we earn credits so much faster in Swift Play than you do in a normal round. I did get rid of my Spectre. I am going to put... I think they went... Enemy spotted B. No, so they're in B. So I'm gonna put my turret here. So I can come this way. And it'll also tell you on your bottom abilities if you're able to recall something. So my turret, for example, I'm able to recall. And I just have to wait a little bit in order to put it back out.
Spike planted.
I literally saw
Last
that too.
player standing.
So this is where I would normally mic up and tell my team 109 clove and like say how much damage I did to them so that my team knows that she's a target that they can hit because she took some damage. How does what you buy impact your team? If you choose to save and your team loses, do you lose your credits or abilities? That is such a great question. what you buy can impact your team because if you guys are all strong as a team together and all buy strong weapons, then you're going to be more likely to succeed and get that round point. If you decide to personally save, but say somebody else has credits, you can see what your team has here. So you can kind of communicate with each other. If somebody is getting a lot of eliminations, they're maybe able to buy for other people. Generally, you always want to have some kind of shield, otherwise that just makes you vulnerable if you don't. And so you might spend your credits if you're not getting a lot of eliminations, like me right now, because I'm talking so much and I'm not focused.
You had your fun. My turn.
I might be spending all of my credits on shields, and so I need somebody else to purchase a weapon for me. So that's one way it can impact. If you choose to save,
Spike
it's
down
not
B.
necessarily a bad thing. It's just talking with your team so you guys can make the right decisions, because if you spend trying to replace your weapon every round in a normal game,
One enemy remaining.
swift play. Yes, there we go. I did it.
What did they expect?
So
Switching
when
sides.
if you decide to save, that's not necessarily hurting your team, but maybe like over purchasing can hurt your team because you're constantly trying to replace a gun that you can't afford, or because you're spending too much money on low credit weapons that aren't as powerful. Like a ghost or a stinger is really never going to combat a vandal. It's just not. And so depending on how you purchase, it can affect the overall gameplay. It's going to affect you personally more than the rest of your team, but there is an impact. You don't lose your credits. You only lose what you purchased. So, oh, I was too late. So if I bought a vandal, for example, and I died, I had to keep replacing the vandal because I kept dying. I put my alarm bot out. So I'm gonna let my team know that there's somebody there and that there is. So even when you're dead, you can be helpful to your team. Like, even after you get eliminated, you could pop up this map, watch their vision for them, and see if you can spot where anybody is.
Reloading. Cover going out.
What? That smoke was kind of weird. So they're playing.
One enemy
My
remaining.
ultimate's ready.
So I hope that answered your question. Please let me know if that didn't make any sense.
Last player standing.
So see how he's not rushing in? He's waiting kind of, there we go. Kind of just waiting it out to see if they go around. They were walking, so their footsteps were
Match
heard.
point.
Here we go. So this is the buy menu that I wanted to
I
get.
need
Okay.
this.
So if I die, I lose my gun, but I don't lose my credits. And so I might be spending a lot of money on trying to get back the high gun, even though I might be able to find one on the floor to pick up and save my credits, because I want those abilities. I don't necessarily... It's just, it's so hard to explain. It's a game of balance. Like, you truly are trying to learn the best balance of things. I'm scared. Oh god.
Watch your eyes.
Last player standing.
Oh god.
Spike down B.
Ah, dang it. See, last man standing. But it's okay. So this is what's great about Swift Plays, is like, you can go in and you can just do whatever and kind of experiment and be like, you know what? I'm gonna go full Odin. Am I? Can I do it? Can I go in Odin? I don't know. But I'm gonna be a little bit more strategic with my turret this time, and I'm gonna put my turret here so that way anybody that's coming here.
Reloading. Our spike carrier is dead.
Spike down mid.
Healing you.
Who has the spike? Sage has it. Come on, Sage.
Let go.
Ah! See, I should have been looking behind me instead of watching what Sage was doing. That's where we want to pay attention to every opening.
Last player standing. Spike down B. One enemy remaining.
Shadows.
I told you, Omen was a really popular controller. You're gonna find an Omen, I would say, in almost every single game. My son is an Omen main.
30 seconds left.
It's a very nice teleport. And then he's playing off. Oh no! Oh, so sad. Why did he do that up there? So see, that's where, like, making your ability usage choices can completely impact the game. I want. So, there's not always a ton of communication in Swift play, which is kind of nice. If you want a low stakes, just low key gameplay where you can try things out, I really, really recommend Swift play. Notice how the game is already almost over. It's been maybe 5 to 10 minutes.
Our spike is down.
Well, that was fast.
Spike down mid.
So see, my turret is gonna have.
I suggest you move!
Oh no! Oh no!
Reloading.
Why am I suppressed again? We're just like using full ults. Okay, so my turret is back up. So my turret has our back at least this way.
Turret
God.
destroyed.
Last player standing.
The aim. That's the part I have the hardest time with, is the aim. The aim is going to be the thing that frustrates you in this game. You can have incredible game sense and terrible aim.
Sudden death.
Sudden death. Uh-oh. NT, thank you. Thanks, Maxis. Where's our open? At the core, the game is very simple. You're planting to the site, you're picking a site, A, B, or C. Some games there's a C. And you are... We like to switch guns. Oh my gosh, I love it! I love Zed. I love EDM music, you guys. We'll show you how to inspect in the next lesson.
Shadows traveling.
Actually, I'm just gonna put this
Alarm
here
out.
in case somebody comes. And then I am going to put
Satchel out.
a turret up here to watch both sides for me. So, alarm bot is triggered. So, yep. Somebody's coming this side. Probably.
One enemy remaining.
So my turret is gonna notify me of somebody coming, probably before I will notice. And if I stay in that zone, then I am going to die. So,
Attackers win.
there we go. So we won. So that wasn't the like greatest example, but but we won. So that's all that matters, right? Let's go. All right, you guys. That's gonna be the end of it, I think, for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Seriously. Oh, there we go. We got some Radianite points. It really means so much. We're gonna be doing another sip and strat where we're gonna get some more intermediate to advanced gameplay tips. You're going to be learning, you know, what we talked about earlier with some peeking or some advanced movement strategies with counter strafing, advanced spying strategies, and things of that nature. So definitely make sure if you want those next level tips to level it up, to turn into that, make sure you are following the Gamers on all of their social channels. And of course, download the app so that you can RSVP on the event website or on their events tab. Of course, I'd love to hear your questions. You guys, I check the comments of those events, so if there's anything you want to know in particular, put some comments in and say, you know, I'm hoping to learn about this. The more active you are, the more we can teach you about what you want to know. So definitely comment on the videos or whatever you see or on the events tabs. Let us know what you want to learn about, and we'll make sure to try and include it in the best sequential order. We're going to have 2 more sip-in strats. We're going to be drinking liquid IV at both of those, or whatever your drink of choice is. But we are also preparing for the 1v1me tournament that they are hosting in February. So if you want to learn more about that, again, just check out the Gamers app or their website. And I will see you guys next time in November, in about a month, for the next sip and strat. You guys, thank you so much for being so wonderful. Seriously, it was so much fun, and I'm so sorry for the technical errors, but we did get our 2 hours in, so we ran a little bit over. This was awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much, Maxie. So you guys are wonderful. The chat was active. You guys were amazing. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Alrighty, have a good night.